What is happening, everybody? Welcome to episode number 30 of the Bards of Gaming Podcast, where this week I'm going to be joined by my good friend Matt, who you might remember from the Yakuza episode, and we are going to be sitting and talking about Astro Bot, the PS5 Astro Bot game, the third in the franchise, and we'll get into all that later. But I just wanted to drop in and drop this little intro saying I do apologize for my very infrequent uploads, and as always, my life has just been hectic. My job has been crazy. I've been doing a lot of hours. I've had a couple of work trips. And today, actually, as I'm recording this intro, I'm packing and getting ready to fly out to Southeast Asia for the next 2.5 weeks. So I will be in Thailand for a week, and then I will be going to Tokyo. And if any of you happen to be going to Tokyo for the Star Wars Celebration Festival, just keep an eye out for a tall white guy, blonde hair, with probably a white Adidas cap and a C-3PO shirt, and come up and say hi. So that is where I will be. Going to try my best to check out Akihabara and get some. I want to try to get some retro games. So I'm going to take a look at that store Super Potato out there in Akihabara. If you're not familiar with it, look it up on Google. I've never been there. I've been to Akihabara before a couple of years ago, right around the time I actually started this podcast, and I ended up going to Yodobashi Camera and finding some cool stuff, figurines, but I completely missed out on the, retro game market that they have over there. And I'm very much looking forward to getting out there and checking out what I can find. Maybe I can find some stuff that, was never really, a US release, probably cost an arm and a leg, but we'll see. I don't want to spend all that much money. Thought about getting like an OG, Game Boy Advance, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so this week's episode, we are going to be talking about Astro Bot, and we had a really great time discussing this game. There's a lot of love, a lot of praise for this, for the entire franchise, really. We're super, super happy to see that PlayStation is once again, making top quality 3D platform games. And I just want to say, I know I put out a list a little while ago of like top 10 third-person 3D platformers that I played, and if I ever redo that list, this game will be on there, 100%. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. If you do enjoy the episode, any likes, any shares, anything, very much appreciate that. That helps out a lot. You can find my Instagram at the Bards of Gaming. You can find me on X or Twitter at 2Bards of Gaming with the number 2. You can find links to all my socials as well as my email if you'd like to reach out to me directly at thebardsofgamingpodcast.com. Also, any merchandise that is on there, I'm planning on trying to find different distributors. It's been a work in progress. Mainly because I don't like to sell stuff that I myself deem less than good quality, and I understand that some of the stuff on there is pretty good. Like, I've ordered a bunch of stuff off there just to give it a trial run, and like I've got a couple of t-shirts. One of them, the print is fantastic. The other one, the print fell apart very quickly. I understand that like the coffee mugs are pretty good, but like the phone cases, they get very faded relatively quickly. So I just want to give you a fair warning if you happen to be getting any of the merchandise off of that website. As always, I do very much appreciate your support. However, I will say, until further notice, I may be dropping my supplier for that. I'm trying to think of somewhere better that I can source merchandise from. That was just a good third party to start with, but I do want to change that. So if you do plan on buying merchandise, again, I very much appreciate all the support. It means a lot to me. You do not have to. You are under no obligation, and I honestly would recommend against it at the moment. So please, I don't want that to be a reflection of myself or anything. So it's yeah, that's my warning. Don't buy the merchandise at the moment. I'm probably going to take the link off of the website as soon as possible. But yeah, so enjoy the episode. Let me know what you think. I'm always willing and happy to reach out or respond to any messages I get. If you want to DM me on Instagram, that's where I'm most active. And I'll see you guys in the episode. Thanks. welcome everybody to episode 30 of the Bards of Gaming Podcast, where this week we are joined once again by my friend Matt. Hey Matt, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Rob?
Not too much. Just, as you were talking to me, just doing some Pokemon cards and stuff like that. So, this week,
I guess you're
episode...
home.
That I do. Um, but this week, episode 30, another milestone episode, the third 10, we are going to be covering Astro Bot. If you have left your comments in the Instagram posts or on X or whatever, I have seen them, and you will hear them in the intro, or you will have heard them in the intro. But this week, like I said, we're covering Astro Bot, which is a phenomenal game, and I am so happy to have my buddy Matt joining me. Matt, have you... you said you did not beat this.
No, I did not beat the game per se.
But you played a good amount of it.
I have played a huge chunk of this game.
Okay. So, knowing that you are a PlayStation lover, longtime PlayStation lover, much like myself, I wanted to get you on this episode because I know that you would have a lot of, very good input, given all the Easter eggs and amazing level design that we have in this game.
Oh, totally. This game has a very big love letter to longtime Sony fans, and just PlayStation fans in general.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, this is actually, I believe, the third game in the Astro Bot franchise. The first one, I believe, came out. I played it at our buddy Mike's house back in COVID. It was a PS. What's that?
That's is it PS3?
No, it was a PSVR game.
Oh, PSVR, that's right.
Yeah, it was on the PS4. It was Astro Bot Rescue Mission. And then I forget which one came next.
Well, I know Astro's Playroom came with the PS5.
Yes, you're right. Thank you. This technically
that was
makes
a very fun game.
That game was awesome.
Yeah, for a free game that comes with your PS5, like lots of fun.
Yeah, and that's today in a day and age where we don't really have launch titles or like pack-in launch titles anymore. Like, Wii Sports, we don't have that anymore.
No, that's from a bygone era, basically, with modern gaming stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you remember back in the day, like when you would get the GameCube or the PS2, it would come with demo discs.
Oh yeah, demo discs. And occasionally on release, you'll see some titles still, boxed together with certain exclusive console models, like Spider-Man PS5 would come with the game, but for the most part, you don't see a launch title packaged in with it anymore.
And when that does happen, you're paying for it. Like, it's not like it's a freebie to get you to get this console. Like, you're paying for it every penny.
You're paying more than cover price on that game in that box.
For sure. Yeah, it's like if it's a $60 game, you're paying $100 for that game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my God, the console is on sale for this much off. Okay, now you might be paying for the retail value of that
game. Yeah, and only then.
Yeah, but this game is a total freebie. And I mean, I don't know how much this game may or may not have helped the sales of the PS5 console, but I'll tell you what, I would not be surprised if this boosted the sales of the console because people wanted to play Astro Bot.
I mean,
this wasn't the freebie. Playroom was.
No,
my bad.
Playroom was a freebie.
Yeah.
But my buddy Jake, he's got a 5-year-old daughter. And the Astro's Playroom plus Astrobot has become her first foray into the video game world.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's truly a great platformer.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I mean, I don't keep my ear to the ground that much with youth titles. So I mean, aside from Roblox, though, like I don't know how many games are out there that are child friendly to that degree because the Mario games always will be, but we don't. Back when you and I were kids on the N64 and stuff, we had a plethora of games to choose from with Spyro, Banjo, Mario, whatever.
Yeah, no, we totally did have that, and I mean, like you said, today's kids, and of course us who still dabble in Mario, will always have Mario.
Yeah,
but a lot of the games have become few and far between. I mean, even Even I just recently played through Sonic Frontiers because it was free,
Oh yeah, how was that?
and I loved it. But Sonic has become. I mean, at least that version of Sonic has strayed away from the platformer origin,
Yeah,
and that would be much more difficult for 7-year-old Matt to play, like when he played Sonic and Sonic 2 on the Sega Genesis.
yeah.
Like
Uh,
it would be a much more challenging game.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that there, like I said again, I don't keep my ear to the ground with this kinds of stuff,
Yeah,
but
same.
it seems to me that in today's day and age with gaming, there is such a small window or point of entry for gamers. If you're a
Yeah,
child, what do you play? Fortnite, Minecraft? You know,
yeah. I mean, that's mainly what the kids I know play.
yeah. And
You
Fortnite, I'm
know,
sorry, I've never played it, but I've seen a lot of it, and it does not seem like an easy game.
no. I mean, I know people our age that play Fortnite and they have their struggles with it. So,
Yeah. But it's
and
like,
it's very competitive.
oh yeah. Yeah. And
We have family friends who their 9-year-old plays Fortnite, and I've literally seen him spawn just to get shot and and dismembered on screen.
shot by a fucking banana that's hiding in a bush a mile away in a fucking house that was 30
Exactly.
stories tall.
you know but
Yeah.
it's yeah, like I mean, I grew up on platformers,
Yeah.
and I think they helped me become the gamer that I ended up becoming, just because you learn a lot from platformers.
You do. I agree 100%. They're not always the most story heavy, but they're fun. And that's what I feel like a lot of games forget about is just
Yeah,
make
for
it
sure.
fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the Astro Bot franchise has really cornered the market on a genre that seems to be gone now. It's
Yeah.
like there's always platformers, there's always going to be, your 3D platformers, but it's not, like we said, it's not nearly to the scale that it once was. And
and
what's up?
and let's be honest. A lot of people, at least from what I saw on the internet, were very surprised that Astrobot won Game of the Year.
I
When
don't
I
know why
saw
they were
that
surprised.
I exactly. When I saw that it won, I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is an amazing platformer. It's new and shiny, but it's also reminiscent of elements of platformers that we grew up on.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so well themed. I mean, we'll get into the meat and potatoes of everything and talk about our likes and dislikes as usual, but it's you're right. Like when it was up as a major contender for Game of the Year for many, review platforms, and it stole the show quite a few times. But at the VGAs when it won Game of the Year, I could not help but understand. Like
Oh yeah.
people were shitting themselves because they're like, "Oh, it's a PlayStation exclusive. Oh my God, how could you pick a game that's not, multi, platform, whatever?" It's like, but it's just that good.
It is that good.
And there's like no dialogue. It's just like you don't need it. It's not story heavy, but it is
No.
so mechanic heavy and it is so design heavy. It's fun.
It's fun. It's fun. It's versatile, and it's shiny.
Yeah, and anybody can play it. Anybody can
Yeah.
play it. Your 5-year-old cousin can play it.
Yeah.
Everybody can play it.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
mean,
it's
my experiences of playing this game are helping my goddaughter and my godson get farther in their copy of this game.
yeah.
And we, the few times, the bunch of times I went over to the house, we sat there, we played it. I helped them with levels. I remember the first time I played with my goddaughter Jackie. We're playing, and I spot one of the collectible items you need to get to progress, and
Yeah.
she's like, "I thought you never played this," and I'm like, "Uncle Matt grew up on platformers, Jackie."
Reminds me of that scene of like you remember the scene from Malcolm in the Middle when Malcolm says something and then Bryan Cranston turns and like the whole room gets dark and he's just like
Yeah.
locked in. It's
Yeah.
like that's you looking at your goddaughter like, I've been here before.
I'm like, I've been here. I've experienced this. This is what gaming was.
Oh yeah, and you know what? That's gonna
and
be a
it and
core
it
memory for her.
yeah. And like me saying that this is what gaming was proves that the 3D platformer can still be relevant, it can still be fun, and it can be accessible to people of all age groups if
Yeah,
made properly and made the right way, you know?
yeah, absolutely. So that's I can't agree more. But let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this and serve some dinner. And let's start with talking about our dislikes. Um, I don't have any.
Yeah. I was gonna interrupt you before when you said talk about likes and dislikes. Because I literally have nothing bad to say about this game.
Dude, I don't have a.
It is
I really don't.
the first time I went over to my friend Megan's, that's my goddaughter, my godson's mother. When I went over there and I sat down and started playing with him, I was like immediately enraptured with this game. Like
Oh yeah,
I was like, "Ooh, this is fun! Ooh, I can help them get all the collectibles."
yeah. No, I think if I really had to think about it, the only thing that I could possibly say is a dislike for this game is the fact that it does not come pre-installed on every hard drive that it comes with.
Yes.
The fact that I have to look at this and listen to the music in the PlayStation home screen and wait for it to download, that might be my only dislike because I'm just that excited to jump into it.
Oh yeah, no, it is a great game. Like,
It really
and
is.
it's not often that you get to say, "Oh, you know what? I played this platformer. It's a Sony exclusive, and it's literally amazing."
Dude, when is the last time that Sony even had an exclusive platformer to show off? Back on the
uh,
PS1 or PS2,
may,
maybe?
I mean, maybe I don't even know. I mean, is Crash on everything now?
Yeah,
And is Spyro?
yeah.
Um,
Once they came out with the reboot trilogies, like the
yeah,
remasters, yeah.
like because I know Ratchet and Clank is still exclusive.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I forgot about that.
Like Ratchet and Clank. But like we haven't seen a Ratchet and Clank since PS5 launch, right?
Yeah, Rift Apart.
Yeah. I mean, and once again, it's a great game.
Have not played
Like
that yet.
I feel like it. I feel like it got passed over. It's definitely worth looking into. It's
I own
pro.
it. I just haven't played it.
Okay. Hey, story of my life. My backlog is like 15 games deep.
Oh, dude. I don't even want to talk about it. I've made a rule for myself over the past couple months where I'm not allowed to buy any games until I'm done with Persona 3 Reload, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Sonic Frontiers, Yakuza 4, and God of War Ragnarok. Those are my games that I have to beat before I'm
Nice,
allowed to buy anything else.
nice.
I'm still working on the first one.
Not definitely don't want to get sidetracked, but congratulations again through Yakuza 3.
Thanks. Okay, real quick, yeah. To get sidetracked for just a second, that is the one Yakuza game that has the least amount of side content accomplished.
Oh yeah, I mean, my buddy and I, who's also another big Yakuza guy, we literally had this conversation a couple weeks ago. Just the fact that you can't run in that game.
Dude,
Oh, oh,
I didn't even play it on the PS2. I did not play the first two games on the PS2. I went from Kiwami 1 to Kiwami 2, which is the
same,
fucking best game in
same,
the franchise as of
same.
2022 or whatever. And then I went from that to Yakuza 3 Remaster, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a staggering drop in quality.
It's
Like
rough. And
it's a
Yakuza
great it's a
3,
it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. But when you go from playing, like for me, because I'm in the similar boat as you. I did Zero, Kiwami 2, and then to hit that, I was like, whoa.
yeah. Well, we can
Like I just
definitely cover this more when we
yeah,
cover the
yeah,
Kiwami 2 episode
yeah. We'll
next.
definitely revisit that.
Yeah, which I mean, for anybody wondering what might be coming next, it's planned to be Kiwami 2. So you can expect Matt probably back to back. But to get
Yeah,
back into Astro Bot, yeah,
yeah.
I have
Amazing
nothing
game.
I don't like.
Yeah, no, it's really a breath of fresh air because I mean, and I'm always playing the latest platformers. I love platformers.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like a little kid again.
Yeah.
As much as I love my JRPGs because that's my bread and butter. The platformers, I always anytime a new Mario game comes out, I may not play it right away, but I always get to it. And I mean, some of the latest Mario titles haven't really scratched that itch like this game did.
No, I will say, I think, I mean, I did a whole list about my top 10 favorite platformers, 3D platformers, and which needs to be updated because this game will be on that list.
Oh yeah,
But
I would agree with that statement.
top of that list was, I believe, Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh,
And
Mario Odyssey is amazing.
yeah, and I mean, this game, Mario Odyssey really was incredible. And
Yeah.
I do have to do an episode on that as well. And if you want to join me for that, it's all yours.
I'll gladly join you for that.
All
I
right,
could I
sweet.
could
That
talk a
was
lot about Odyssey.
Yeah, that was one of my COVID games, and I beat the shit out of that,
Yeah.
except for the Dark Side of the Moon. But anyway, back to Astro Bot. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough to pick which one I would put above the other for that.
Yeah, no, I mean I would have to start playing Odyssey again just to compare and contrast because a lot of the mechanics in Astro Bot are fire. So I'd have
Oh
to
yeah,
compare and contrast with a sit down of Odyssey and Astro Bot to really. I mean, the power ups alone in Astro Bot, they remind me of, they're definitely reminiscent of power ups from, Mario games, but they're more versatile, they're more engaging, and they're just a lot of fun.
oh yeah. And I wrote a pretty comprehensive list of all the power ups that are in that game because I wrote literally a page and a half of bullet point notes of what I like about this game. And
Awesome.
I mean, a lot of them are sub points with, like all the creative power ups. Because I literally have one of my bullet points is creative power ups. Like, I have not seen power ups this creative in a long time.
I don't know if I can't think of a game off the top of my head where there's power ups to this degree that are as creative as these are and mechanically engaging into the actual gameplay.
Yeah, maybe like Mega Man.
Yeah,
But
Mega Man hasn't really not to shoot shots at Capcom, but Mega Man hasn't really done anything too modern or fantastic with its IP.
yeah.
I mean, trust me, I'm a huge Mega Man fan. I would love to see a modern, really, meat and potatoes Mega Man game.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people would love to see Mega Man kind of shine through again.
I mean, I would love to see a Mega Man game made to the same degree or same quality standard as Astro Bot. I think that would be something fucking incredible. Like, or if we had like a Mega Man Legends in the style of like, Odyssey.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. But when it comes to Astro Bot, what would you say are your favorite power-ups?
I
can read you the list if you like.
The twin. I mean, off the top of my head, without a list, I can say I love the twin frog gloves quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. The just for the sake of visual standing, I love the bulldog booster. I think his name's Barkster.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of fun. The monkey climber is great.
That yes, yeah, that one I love because, and I mean, as I put as another lot or like for this game, it really takes advantage of the controller, and I mean we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, that was a great power up.
That's probably my favorite one, just because of, like you said, the controller use and the mechanical applications for it. I mean, this game, it actually utilizes every aspect of the DualSense controller.
Oh yeah.
Which, I like that it's actually showcasing Sony's tech as well as their game design.
Yeah. I think my favorite console on the market, just side note, hands down, is the PlayStation, simply because of the controller. Any game that comes out first party PlayStation, I have to get it. I have to try it. I have to see what they did with this controller.
Yeah, no, it's a great controller.
Yeah.
It feels great in your hand. It's super comfortable to hold, and like a lot of controllers miss the mark on that.
Yeah, and a lot of the PlayStation controllers in the past have missed the mark on that. The PS3 is one of my least favorite controllers of all time.
Yeah, it's not a great controller.
No, and the dynamic triggers, like that's so incredible. You know, like other consoles and other third party, you know, manufacturers have tried to make controllers like it, but they have, you know, like pre-lock settings for their triggers, which PlayStation doesn't need that. PlayStation, you know, when you're pulling a trigger, it gives you responsive dynamic feedback. I think that's fucking incredible. But I keep getting off track. To get into favorite power-ups, you say yours is the monkey climber.
Yes. A lot of fun with the monkey climber.
I gotta say, mine I wrote here is the mouse shrinker.
Mouse shrinker is a good one.
That one kind of blew my mind a little bit. Like, I don't know. It reminded me a lot of Mario 64 when you have the world that you go into and things are big and then things are really small.
Oh yeah. I wish I could remember the name of that world.
Yeah, but it reminded me a lot of that. But that level, like, you know, obviously that's 30 years ago as well. But you know, you have to go in to each individual level. This one, you change the size of the level real time. And I think that the way that they designed this mechanic to be functional with parts of the level, like you shrink down, you run underneath a log, you make yourself big again, you break the fucking log. I thought that was just like the little things. It's the little things.
It stuff like that, like, you know, and I think gamers take a lot of stuff for granted today.
Yeah.
You know, because like we grew up in a time where, you know, you played a game and buildings weren't destructible.
Yeah.
And now we're in a time where your whole environment, depending on what the game's trying to do and the game design and, you know, your creative team, like all environments can be destructible.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have a lot of that growing up. So it adds so much more interesting qualities to the quality of life in a game and just the fun and different things you can try to do, you know, throughout your gameplay.
Yeah, and this game has a fair amount of secrets and things for you to discover, and it really wants you to play around with the entirety of the world. And using the mechanics, using the special power-ups that you find to interact with like literally everything around the map. And I've like you said, you know, it's like we grew up playing platformers. We know where to find a lot of things. We know to look over the edge, and you know, when you start a level, always look behind you first, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I will, and I was able to find a good 85% of the hidden things in this game. There were a few things though where I was like, how am I missing? Because I started to try to go for a completion run on this game, and I was like, how am I missing this? And you know, you go into the level and there's a thing that you can buy. Once you've beaten the level, you can go back and buy this thing that's kind of like a treasure hunter, and you follow it and it kind of points you in the direction of, you know, the secrets you've missed. And
we did that a couple times with Jackie's playthrough.
Yeah, and I remember coming across a couple of parts and I'm just like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? And then I would go to YouTube and I'd be like, oh my god, like from a design perspective, that's genius. I would never have thought of that.
I don't remember the specifics of this one, but you know, it's a good segue into some of the Easter eggs that are featured into this. But I'm like, you know, hold on, Jackie, let's, you know, wait a second. Uncle Matt's gonna figure out how to do this with the help of the internet. And you know, while we're sitting there, you know, Astro Bot's in idle. And next thing you know, Astro Bot pulls out a PS1 and starts playing it while he's waiting. And I'm like, wait a minute, what else is this guy gonna do? So then, you know, we spent like the next few minutes, you know, we'd move him around a couple feet and then wait and see what he'd do next. You know, it reminded me of, you know, back in the day playing Sonic the Hedgehog, where if Sonic sat still too long, he'd start tapping his foot and looking at the screen like, come on, man, what are you doing?
It's the little things. I love that.
But the Easter eggs are great. The mechanics are great. The design, like They really, you could tell that the team behind Astrobot put all their heart and soul into making this such a great and accessible game for everyone.
Absolutely. And everything from the levels themselves to the hub world to the galaxies, there's so much shit to find and discover and do.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
let's talk about the hub world for a second. I'm sorry,
no, you're good. You're good.
No, I was just saying, let's just talk about the hub world for a second, because like, you know, the whole, I guess, quote unquote story of this game is there's, you know, you're flying through space in your PS5 spaceship, which, by the way, I love that Sony has embraced.
The design of the PS5 spaceship is so much fun.
Yeah, I love that they embraced, you know, the fact that everybody on the internet was like, oh my God, it looks like a spaceship. And they literally turned it into one.
They're like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this.
But so
it's a spaceship now.
Yeah. So you're cruising around in space, and then this bully alien crashes your ship, takes your, you know, your main computer components and scatters them throughout the galaxy. And now you're stranded on this, you know, deserted planet essentially, and you have to collect all of these, you know,
components.
Yeah, all these components for the PS5, as well as the rest of your missing Astrobots that have been scattered. And it's kind of the same story as you know, the other Astrobot games, but it's all fun.
Yeah, I mean it harkens back to a lot of platformers, whether it's collect the stars, collect the rings, collect the emeralds, you know, collect the, you know, puzzle pieces for those familiar with Banjo-Kazooie.
And I think that it's, you know, they task you with finding these Astrobots, which throughout the other Astrobot games have been, you know, the primary collectible. And this is one of the primary collectibles because, you know, they you use them in the hub world to you know, team effort things, to lift things and to create bridges and whatever.
Build things. Yeah.
It's awesome. I love the way that they made that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but the way that
every time we finished a level with all of our collectibles, it was like, all right, let's go back to the hub and see what we can do.
Yeah. It's
let's
like, oh, now
let's see what we can build something or do, you know, put the next piece of the ship together.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, as I was going through this game, like every planet that you visit, and there's a lot of them. I think I wrote down here, there's like 81 planets. Yeah, there's 81 planets.
Yeah, there's a lot of worlds.
Yeah. But each planet has like 5 to 7 Astrobots for you to collect. Some of them are just generic, but every level has a few, or all levels have, or whatever. They either have a few special Astrobots for you to collect that are like themed. And I was thinking, how many levels are in this game? How many Astrobots are there that have a theme? I'm going to run out of games, dude. There were some deep fucking cuts.
Oh yeah. I mean, there were some obvious ones. Yeah, I mean, not that obvious isn't good, because I love seeing Kratos Astrobot anytime he pops up.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there were some cuts.
Yeah, dude, they had Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah, Parappa, that was amazing. As a kid of the 90s, seeing Parappa Astrobot was awesome.
Yeah. And wasn't I forget, was there like a mini game kind of around that? I forget. I have to look it up. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say, yeah, no, like, I mean, I'm a big Resident Evil fan, so seeing some of the Resident Evil Astrobots was really awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, it's really just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's you know, they had Eve from Stellar Blade, which, you know, that's kind of a cut. You know, you had Helldivers characters, you had Spidey showed up in it, which was awesome because that's another big PS5 exclusive. The Marvel Spider-Man game is, you know, a big hit for them.
Yeah. You had Uncharted, you had Joker from Persona, you had Solid Snake.
Yeah. Like, they even had Kena from Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some of the other you know, there were some Horizon characters in there.
Dude, they had everybody. Just
Joker. Joker from Persona 5 was in there.
Yeah, I said that a minute ago. It like
okay.
they had Joker. They had, because Persona used to be a PlayStation exclusive franchise.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they had a
Up
bunch of
until
characters.
recently.
Yeah, but no, there was like everybody from everything, and I love that the hub world is basically just one big party with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And
No, it's a bamboozle.
yeah, and this, I mean, this game is just, it's built to be fan service at
Oh
its
yeah,
at its core.
100%. But it's also, and the great thing is, it's not fan service for the sake of fan service. It's fan service with just great content, and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just some cheesy, cash grab. It's a fucking, it's a charming love letter to their history,
Oh, for sure.
which is great. And like I love that, as throughout every level you have collectibles. There's a few different kinds of collectibles as a collectible-thon or a collectathon game should have. But one of them is coins, as with every other game. Except the coins in
Yeah.
this game you spend on like a Japanese gacha machine to get decorations for all these characters that you've unlocked. And I think that that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it adds, you know, I say this all the time, and I mean, I'm on both sides of this coin that I'm gonna bring up. And that coin is the dreaded DLC coin. I grew up in a time where your games already had all the secrets built into them. You just had to discover them.
Yeah.
Whether it was a different outfit for a character, a new character entirely. I love when games include stuff that improve the quality of life in your game without you, the user, having to spend more money.
Yeah.
And using the in-game currency to decorate and add stuff to your already gathered Astro Bot companions and collectibles, like that's just great. It's great. And there's so many times in modern gaming where I'm like, why wasn't this included with the base game?
Yeah.
Like, what happened to the fun of it?
Yeah, it's nothing's better than having collectibles or things in the game like exclusive outfits and whatever, that all that it requires you to do is beat the game on a harder difficulty. It adds
Beat the game,
replay value.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Play, find it. Like,
yeah, enjoy the
you
game.
know?
Find the secret endings in Silent Hill 2,
Yeah,
follow the
exactly.
sequence of,
Yeah.
obscure shit you got to do. It's like
Yeah. Hit the button pattern and unlock a secret ninja in Mortal Kombat. Like,
yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, hell, Super Smash Brothers. If you beat the game in under a certain amount of time, you get a character.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of stuff I miss, and it's great to see stuff like that incorporated in a game like this.
For sure. And I'll be honest, even if Astrobot, even if the developers were like, "Oh, we are gonna have some DLC," when they might now, I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
even if they're like, "Oh, we will have some paid DLC," but it's just going to be more for you to do. And I look at that more as you're not roadblocking a good time, or you're not, preventing the ending of a game if there was a story
Exactly.
by a paywall. But it's instead, I see it as you have made such a phenomenal product. I have thoroughly enjoyed your product, and
And I want to keep going.
I would love to support the developer in their effort
Yeah.
to create more of this amazing product.
Yeah. And I've already been dating myself throughout this, but when DLC first started, most of it was, here's a little something extra for you.
Yeah.
And it's going to lead you into the next project we have coming out for this title.
Yeah.
It's like it would be like a 1.5, something to hold you over till 2 came out.
Yeah, but that's also back when, 2 was a 1 or 2 year development cycle, not a fucking
Exactly.
8-year development cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why everybody's going to these. I mean, dude, we'll do it on the other show. We'll go into this rant, but yeah, I don't want to.
No, I hear you.
That'll be
But
a hot take.
It's just great that so much is included in this game. So much fun can be had in this one title.
Yeah.
And if they do DLC to add more worlds and more, more VIPs to find, and more power ups, more mechanics to explore. I'm all there for it because this game was such a blast to just play, enjoy, and have fun, and to play with the younger kids and see see their eyes open to how fun these types of games can be.
Yeah. And it's just, everything about this game, and I'd like to get more into the meat and potatoes of it if you got the time.
Yeah,
but
of course.
So much about this game is discoverable, and it's all you have to do is play and look for it. Like when you're, you got the hub world, you have those things that, you have these spots where you need a certain amount of Astro Bots in order to unlock it or whatever. That's fine. When you get out to the galaxy, when you're flying around in space, look, in the level selector map, if you fly a little bit outside of where the camera shows at first, you would think normally you can't, because that's where the screen ends.
Yeah,
but no,
you would be like a invisible wall.
Yeah, but the camera pans and it shows you some other stuff, and there's an asteroid ring, and if you fly in those asteroids and you separate them enough and you fly away, then something else appears and you have to chase it, and then that unlocks a fucking secret challenge world. It's like things like that where all you have to do is just play with your surroundings. And you'll find something that
you're only limited by your imagination to it,
Yeah. And
it's because we've also experienced tons of games where there's invisible walls that keep you from progressing, and some people don't even try to attempt that. And like you said, you try to because you're curious of what the limits are, and you're rewarded with more content.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, one of the things I learned, because like I'm studying game design, like I have a degree in game development, and I'm still going to school for game design. And it's like one of the things that you learn really early on is no matter what you make, no matter how perfect you make it, the player's goal, and especially the play tester's goal, is to break the game.
Yeah, of course.
They will always push the boundaries, and they will do everything in their power to discover something they shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just human nature. We want
that's how speedruns come about.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, and Astro Bot, they know that you're going to try to break the game. They know that you're going to try to look over every edge and, break every secret wall and whatever. And they oftentimes, when you're, us as veteran players, when we look around at something, we see a waterfall and we're like, there's going to be something there. Sure enough, they know there's going to be something there. It's like they give it to us. Everything in this game is just like perfect.
And once again, playing with my 10-year-old niece, goddaughter, she literally looked at me like, you lied to me. You've played this before. And I'm like, no, I haven't played this before. I just know where the spots to keep hidden stuff is.
Yeah.
If there's a waterfall, chances are there's something behind it.
Dude, I wish I could be 20 years younger to be a child playing this game for the first time. It's got to be a mind-bending experience.
I mean, it's funny too, because I've been playing video games a long time, and sometimes the new elements of stuff creep up on me, like like the motion control stuff, and like when you're using the monkey climb and stuff like that. And, the kids are showing me how to, they're like, no, Uncle Matt, you got to do it this way. And then like, once I got it down because that's, that's what being a gamer is all about. But, but it was fun. Like, cause it's it's easy for the kids to learn. The adults are also adaptive to new mechanics.
Dude, speaking of control mechanics like that, like one that fucked with me was the blowing into the microphone.
Oh yeah.
I remember like going through the game and I was stuck for a second, and then it pops up with that little screen kind of telling you what to do. And I looked at the image and I was like, no. I was like, there's no way. Sure enough, you try it, it works perfectly. You're like, what the fuck, man?
I had children yelling at me to blow the controller.
I was like, I couldn't believe that worked.
I'm like, you want me to do what to the controller?
Because, dude, I'm sure you can remember a time too where, like, developers and consoles and whatever tried doing mechanics similar to that. Look at AU Pikachu, look at fucking C-Man. Things that, it's like they want the player to interact with the controller in such a way, but it just never worked. So this one working flawlessly.
Yeah, it's incredible to see stuff like that reach the point it's at now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, because like I talked about earlier, being an N64 kid, we all wanted to we all tried to make Pikachu do stuff, and it was very challenging.
Yeah, that's an
Pikachu is an
understatement.
obstinate Pokemon.
It's like trying to teach a cat tricks. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
No.
But no, it's the mechanics are great. And once again, it comes down to the tech that Sony has. The DualSense controller is an amazing piece of machinery, and this is an amazing game. And I'm glad they pair up so well together.
Yeah, absolutely. And dude, like everything within this game, and I would like to highlight also the boss fights.
Oh
Just
yes, please.
the perfection, the just absolute perfection of these boss fights.
I always love when a game consistently includes mechanics, not only from the meat, the bones of the game,
Yeah.
but also the mechanics to specific worlds and specific levels to to the boss mechanics. And all the boss fights that I was at least a part of, they were so much fun.
Dude.
Like
Yeah, like
some of them were challenging, but they weren't challenging in a cruel or difficult way. They were challenging in a way that you just have to, open your mind up a little bit and make sure you're approaching it the right way, which was great because, like I said, I'm playing this with a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old.
yeah.
And the 3-year-old just wants to yell and throw the controller, but the 10-year-old trying to learn.
Did you happen to play the Lady Venomara, the giant snake boss?
Yes.
That turns into a giant crazy train in the second phase.
Yes.
That one was sick.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Like this game very largely follows like the rule of 3 of, hit the boss 3 times you win kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
then
it's the standard for platformers.
yeah, like the giant gorilla, you hit it 3 times, you win. The octopus, you hit it 3 times. I don't remember if that one had a second phase, but the snake, that caught my attention.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were all fun. They were all fun.
Yeah.
Like
They were creative.
None of the boss fights felt stale at all.
No, they were so creative.
Like I remember, I think Captain Pincher. He had like the crab hands. He was like a big giant pirate.
Okay, yeah.
Or like having to climb up his body to fight him. It was fun. It was a little challenging because the kids they just we can't do but it was it was so fun and interactive, and like all the planet bosses that I fought were also fun and interactive. The galaxy bosses were all really cool.
And this game doesn't stop rewarding you because, I mean, you finish the boss fight. Like, you work your way through this galaxy, you beat every level, and then you get this boss fight. You do the boss fight, which is a reward in and of itself, I don't say that about a lot of games because a lot of times I look at boss fights like a pain in the ass. It's just an obstacle to get in the way of my gameplay. But this game, I looked forward to the boss fights. And so you get you get rewarded by this boss fight. And then what do you get as a reward for beating the boss fight? A special themed level where you get to play as with the mechanics of another PlayStation exclusive character.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
This game is literally the gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
And so many game developers stood. I mean, you know what? Like, it's always I always feel bad for people, when they're nominated for Game of the Year and they lose. It's always like, oh, you know what? Your game was great. Like, I could see why this game won. Like Astro Bot, I was like, it made total sense that it won.
Dude, I would have been kind of mad if it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like, just because it is such an fun, interactive, unique experience.
Yeah.
And it's so different than everything else that's out there right now.
Yeah, it's not trying to, make a message or have an agenda or cater to anybody. It's just fun for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. And like so many developers should look at what Astro Bot did, and they can try to do similar things.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room in the platformer market for Astro Bot and other games that are in a similar vein.
Yeah, we need to bring back, the fun of gaming, which is
Yeah,
what this game
100%.
is.
I
And it's
mean, there for such a long time, and I'm not going to name any specific games because I think most people will know what I'm hinting at. But there has been a recent trend in the last few years of just making games that are absolutely brutal to play. Like, you cannot win. You will die a million times. And I don't know about everybody else, but I really,
Matt, get
yeah.
good.
I really struggle playing a game where I'm going to die a million times. I don't have the patience for that.
No, it's
Well,
there's a fun to it, but I get what you're saying.
yeah, no, I mean, and like you said before, this game rewards you for getting farther. This game rewards you for beating things. It doesn't, it doesn't push you down and rub your nose in it for winning.
Yeah, there's no mandatory loss in the game. Like a lot of those games
No.
that you're not mentioning have, like in the beginning of the game,
Mhm.
you're required to die at least once
Yeah.
so that it can teach you the mechanic of fucking dying.
Yeah.
This game doesn't have that. It's nice.
No.
It's refreshing.
It's fun. It's about exploring your surroundings, exploring your imagination, and what your imagination can do as far as your discovery of what's going on in the levels and the worlds.
Yeah. And dude, as a longtime platformer player, you get a lot of games out there where you can kind of start to see what's coming. You get your Marios,
you see the patterns, you see the recurring things.
This game had me on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Oh, every level keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, everything was different from the last.
Not in a defensive, I'm afraid I'm going to lose way. It's like this is fun. It's challenging, but not over challenging. It's a breath of fresh air every level.
Yeah, I streamed this game to some of my friends over Discord, and I didn't stream it on Twitch or nothing, but I was streaming just so that they could watch me, playing through it, and they were captivated.
Oh yeah, it's a captivating game. I recommend this game to everybody who's, we're at the age where, a lot of our friends have kids now. And I'm like, well, if you want to play something with your kid, Astro Bot.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you have a PS5, even if you don't have kids, play Astro Bot.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's a great game.
It is. It's a beautiful love letter to gaming.
I can't tell you the last time I've played a game. And I mean, the games I play, I love them.
Yeah.
I love them, even with their shortcomings. This is very few and far between when I have a game where I can say, I don't see anything that I dislike about this game. I don't see anything wrong with this game.
Yeah.
It's truly a fun breath of fresh air.
This game deserves Game of the Year. And that may be a hot take for some people.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? I think everyone who thinks that's a hot take either didn't play it or missed the point.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Yes, we want to see games with amazing graphics, and I mean, this game does have amazing graphics. I'm not trying to shortchange it, but everybody wants super realistic graphics and super realistic that, and this and this, but like you said before, this game is games are supposed to be about having fun.
Yeah.
And this game is just a pile of fun.
This game hemorrhages serotonin, nostalgia, and with the music. The music was fantastic too. And I love how a lot of the music is if you really listen to it, it's pretty funny. It's actually kind of like singing about exactly what you're doing and where you are, or it's just singing Astro Bot.
It's literally just like, you're exploring and you're walking around.
Secrets in the waterfall.
It's funny because obviously, it just reminds me of like a song that would be playing in like a funny episode of South Park where it's just like, just very on the nose about what's the scenario is.
Yeah.
I'm like, because we're sitting there playing. I'm like, are they singing about what we're doing?
Yeah, dude, 100%. I had that same reaction. I was sitting there and I'm just like, Okay, the song of Astro Bot ended, but then it's singing about something. It's singing about the power up I'm using. What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, remember that one episode? No, episode. Remember that one level where you have to, I don't know if you played this one level, but did you play the one level where you have to free the giant robot?
Yes, I did play that one.
That was Iron Giant at its core, and I loved it.
Yeah,
And then the fact
God,
that
I love Iron Giant.
it's such a good movie, but the fact that that robot then became a recurring character in future levels just made me so happy.
Yeah, like and that's another thing. Like this game, like doing stuff like that is so much fun because it's great to feel like you're playing a game. And there's all these different worlds, but even though there's different worlds, there's things that interconnect and intertwine everything.
Yeah.
And like it just it's just such a fun fight.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I really
I'm gonna beat that to death.
I might go back and play it again. Like I might just
Yeah, no, I
from the
mean
beginning.
literally my fiance and I are like that's on our list of, we want to go through it and play it together 100% all the way because there's little bits and pieces here that we've missed because we're not with our godchildren all the time. And I'm like, plus it's just a lot of fun. I don't mind. I'll play it again and again and again. It's a great game.
Yeah. It's just it's you don't even have to think that hard, like if you're an
Yeah,
adult and you want to watch a TV show on the side or whatever while you're doing it, it's like it's just fucking great. And
yeah, no.
I mean, to go back to saying like I want game developers, and I know that there's an audience that agrees with me, but
They're 100% because it did win game.
Yeah, but like I want game developers to realize that like this is great. This is what we want. This like let's go back in time
We
real
want
quick.
fun.
Before live service bullshit started weighing everything down. Before, okay. There's two things as a developer that I have a feeling I will hear or would want to hear or whatever. Like I would want to hear, or I would want to be asked, how are you going to make this game fun? And I would think of shit like this, things like Astro Bot. But instead we get questions like, how can we monetize this? And that's how we get live service games.
Yeah, and that's the chunk of the gaming industry that is like killing the fun aspect of gaming.
Like, why don't we give players unlockable secrets? Why don't we give them God of War-esque skins? Why don't we have Kratos running around in a fish suit anymore?
Yeah. Why are we charging money for things when we could just reward our fan base for playing our product and spending the money on the product they already paid for?
Yeah, and some people say, "Oh,
why are they nickeling and diming fans?"
Some people say, "Oh, I don't have the time to play the game that much to get that." Well, then sorry, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Play the fucking game.
That's how it used to be.
Yeah, if you want the secret skin, if you want the best armor, if you want the whatever, earn it.
Yeah. In middle school I had to break my balls to unlock all the characters in Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah. That's what makes the game fun. That's what makes people good at the game.
And if you didn't win that fight to get that character, you had to go through it again, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about going back to the days of burning quarters out of your pocket because you can't beat the fucking thing, but it's like
that's the same. They lost that arcade value that they got from their quarter machines, and they've switched it to the digital imprint.
Yeah, we kind of went full circle. In a way, and going from one end of the spectrum to the other, because now you're not just paying to play the game every time you want to play it. You're not paying a quarter or whatever it is. You're paying to try to have the best shit to win. But it's like we need to meet in the middle. We need to go back to like the early 2000s where we had the perfect, bonus content design, I guess, structure where you play the game, you play it a little harder, you get the special shit. That's what this game does 100%. Too. You unlock the special secret levels, the challenge levels by flying through the asteroids, whatever. Now you can go through those levels, get the extra Astrobots and then go unlock more shit because there are 100% bonuses at the end of this game. If you get all the puzzle
Yeah,
pieces, if you get all the Astrobots, if you get all the coins, you 100% the game, you get a bonus.
yeah,
That's what
and
we fucking need, man.
that's more games like this are more than welcome in the gaming community.
Dude, if
And
if more
I can guarantee you, we're not the only ones that feel this way.
yeah, if more
This is
games
a
come out,
conversation I have with other gamers all the time.
if more games come out like this, I'm opening my wallet again.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like there's very, 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 very few developers that I'm willing and happy to open my wallet, not just because I like the title, but because I'm willing to support the developer in that way. And the only
Yeah, no.
developers that I'm willing to do that with are RGG, the guys behind Yakuza.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. RGG.
Yeah, RGG definitely they get my money. Atlas, the guys behind all the Persona
Yeah,
games,
Metaphor
and
Refantasio is still on my playlist. I cannot wait to play that game.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick that one up once I'm done with the other two.
Yeah.
But like those really and Nintendo, honestly, I support Nintendo
Oh, yeah, I
because
love Nintendo. Nintendo is a huge nostalgia spot for me, and they still do their best to put out quality products. I mean, sometimes we butt heads over some of their production companies, but
yeah, but
you know,
PlayStation Studios is also going to be on that list because
oh yeah, PlayStation Studios is doing amazing things.
well after this, dude, they've earned high rank in my regard.
Yeah, yeah, no, PlayStation Studios is good.
Yeah. Oh,
I
and
mean,
Santa Monica, God of
Santa
War.
Monica's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, it's just it's hard too. It's hard to go from playing a game like this where it's just so much fun to seeing what else is out there and what's devoid of that type of fun.
Yeah, I think it was after this game, after I beat this game and I looked at the marketplace again, I was like, there's just nothing I want. Like
You
it's
know?
just like nothing looks fun. Nothing looks as
Yeah.
fun as this. So I'm just gonna stop buying shit and play what I have.
And we talked about it briefly earlier, limiting how much you're spending on games because, A, the economy and B, what's out there.
Yeah.
But, my fiance and I, we recently, we're like, reassessing our assets, trying to make some moves and stuff. And I said, hey, listen, we both got a lot of stuff on our back burner. I think if we want to play a new game, we have to beat 3 games that we already have.
Yeah.
And then once you beat 3 games, feel free to buy a new one.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, she's not as big of a gamer as I am. So, I give her a little headway and I help her out with her games, so she can also, I don't want her to not be able to get anything new, obviously.
Yeah. But
Because it's fun that we play together and stuff.
but that's the thing is you're having fun.
Exactly.
And the games she's picking, is she having fun?
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's why we make games.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
do you have anything else that you would like to say on this amazing title before we slap a rating on it?
I would, I know we already talked about the VIP bots, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, and this is gonna sound very old timery of me.
I think we've dated ourselves enough here.
Yeah, but it was so much fun every time coming across a iconic Sony character as in robot form.
Yeah.
And explaining to my goddaughter who that character is. When I played that game when I was your age, and like
I can picture you looking
Leon
like Charlie
Kennedy.
Day.
Yeah, that's Leon Kennedy. I helped him escape Raccoon City when the zombies came. It's just so much fun, and it's really like it's a great game for gamers in general, and it's just a great game for new gamers and gamer families.
Yeah, and I think that it's a gateway drug. I mean, it's a gateway game.
It is a gateway drug.
I said what I said, but no, it's a great gateway game for a younger audience who may not know what franchises this game is referencing. So they might
Yeah.
unlock a character and like, oh, that guy looks pretty cool, like Leon Kennedy or like Joker or Solid Snake or any of these characters.
Kratos, Raiden, any of
Yeah,
them.
they may see these characters and be like, oh, what's that? And then they do a quick Google search and they see the game that it comes from and they're like, oh, that looks fucking sick. Because
Yeah.
the kids now, that are born post 2010 even,
Yeah,
it's
all
like,
the internet access.
yeah, like they weren't even around when the first Uncharted came
No.
out.
Yeah, but they can very easily say, who, Alexa, who is this?
Yeah.
And boom. Like
Yeah.
they have it.
So
and then they can say, "Oh, I want to play that."
yeah, and I think that it's I mean, as from a business perspective, it's fucking great for Sony.
Yeah, you're gonna have all your most popular IPs show up in some way, shape, or form in a fun and engaging way.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's smart. It's smart. It's fun. It's lucrative.
for sure.
I mean, Sony has always known how to make money and profit off of their innovations.
And it's just, I mean, in my opinion, Sony, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sony has always known how to make and produce great games.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of a single, first party Sony franchise that has really been disappointing.
No, I mean I can't either. That might be because I'm such a Sony fanboy, but
Yeah.
I might be a little biased. But no, I mean, all the way back to PS1 with Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot came out and people were blown away by it.
Yeah.
It was something new, fun, and I mean, to me, going from the platformers I played before that, extremely challenging, but rewarding as well.
Yeah. Well, I think that people, the younger audience, especially today, they don't understand just how influential and important PlayStation was as a producer, as a console developer. We wouldn't have Resident Evil if it wasn't for PlayStation. We wouldn't have Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. So many amazing multi-billion-dollar franchises now.
Yeah. Yeah, Christ.
So, and this game really does a great job at highlighting and sending a love letter to all of them.
Yeah, no, it's it's really just it's a fun, engaging, and for people of our age and standing, it's a great nostalgia trip
For sure.
So, but yeah, this game's 5 stars out of 5 stars.
Dude, honestly, I'm gonna say, like on a scale from 1 to 10, there's only one other game that I've given a perfect score rating to, and I believe it was Persona 5. But
which Persona 5 deserves it.
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah. Except for that fucking cat, yeah. But this game is going to be right now. I'm going to rate it as my only other perfect score, 10 out of 10. Confetti mic drop.
Yep.
This game earns it. 100%.
Agree 100%. This game is a perfect game.
Yeah. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about this game.
No, there's no qualms about that. That is 100% the truth.
And we have just been creaming all over this game for the past hour.
Yeah, no,
if people didn't see that coming, you're deaf.
It's a bukkake show at this point.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you very much for joining me again. Do you have any plugs? Any place that people can find you? Any storefronts that you support? Anything like that?
Well, I'm always supporting my local comic book shop, Nemesis Comic and Games in Lafayette, New Jersey. Come on down. We got Magic the Gathering cards, a great collection of singles, all our comic books, and tons of graded and rare books to find down there. And if you're looking for me, I'll be sailing the seas with my Yakuza pirate crew.
I will ask you off mic about that game, but
Of course.
No, that's great, man. I'm really happy. If you want to provide me any Instagram information about that, I will leave it in the description of this episode in case anybody's interested.
Cool.
But other than that, yeah, again, thank you very much. And for those of you listening,
Anytime, Rob.
if you enjoyed what you hear and you would like to spend more time hanging out with us or chatting with us, you can reach me over at the Bards of Gaming Podcast.com, where you can find links to all my socials, including Instagram at the Bards of Gaming or Twitter or X at 2bardsofgaming with the number 2. So at the website also, you can find links to merchandise and my email if you want to send me an email. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I will catch you all next time. Adios.